We now come to my pet candidate, and I make no secret of this, Mike Gravel. I have nothing but a fistful of praise for this man. He has the strongest historical impact out of any of them, hands down. He filibustered to end the draft, for fuck's sake. He's out there always campaigning for what he believes in rather than what he's supposed to believe in. Other people seem to kind of detour off onto talking points. He does the same, but only his own talking points. He's kind of the Ron Paul of the left, and I have to wonder why he hasn't picked up as much momentum as Ron Paul in his activism. In addition to ending the draft, he also published the Pentagon Papers into public record by reading them into committee record. And a strong landmark Supreme Court decision, U.S. v. Gravel, decided that a senator, using the free speech and debate clause, could release classified information to the public. This means that these other senators could be releasing classified information to the public, according to that precedent, to criminalize some of the things that George Bush and his administration has done. But none of them exhibit the courage that Mike Gravel has. He has a no-nonsense debate attitude. He gets up in their little neocon faces about their little neocon problems, and he is the only candidate from either party that has advocated transgendered rights, and he advocates full gay marriage, not just domestic partnership or whatever you want to call it, full gay marriage. He also has the National Initiative, which would allow the people to make laws. If the National Initiative were in place right now, I have great confidence that we would be preparing to bring the troops out of Iraq. Now, I'll get off of Gravel because I have a bit of a hero worship thing for him and move on to Kucinich. He is an outspoken advocate of not-for-profit healthcare, which I very much support, socialized medicine, that is. He's an anti-war candidate. He's proposed impeachment and continues to advocate impeachment. Honestly, he'd be my guy if not for Gravel. My only problem with Kucinich is that I feel that he might be a little too nice sometimes. He has a very calm and very small demeanor, which makes me think he might be persuaded away from some of his more extreme viewpoints in a pinch. And that's not something that I would be glad to see happening. Now, Barack Obama. I have a bit of a bias towards him simply because I'm a Chicagoan, or was a Chicagoan up until recently, and he lived down the street from me. I used to drive down by his house on the bus every time I would go to the train. He is a very eloquent and amazing speaker. However, he has deeply disappointed me in a lot of issues. He was not there in the Senate to vote against Kyle Lieberman. Now, there are a lot of times to not be in the Senate, I suppose, when you're running for president, but Kyle Lieberman is one of those insidious little pieces of legislation that never should have been allowed to pass. And Obama became an enabler, even though one more nay vote wouldn't have actually made a difference. He could have been there to donate his voice to the debate against this, and he wasn't. And to me, that somewhat disqualifies him, because he was not in the Senate to vote against the Iraq legislation, because he wasn't in the Senate at the time. He wasn't a senator. But he also was not in the Senate to vote on the Iran legislation. So, I don't know. That gives me the idea that he might be like George Bush and be off at the ranch when bombs are going off, and that's not a good thing. However, I think if it comes down to it, if it really is a Hillary versus Obama race, please vote for Obama, because I would vote for a one-armed monkey over Hillary Clinton, a half-brained monkey over Hillary Clinton, a diseased water buffalo over Hillary Clinton. Anything but Hillary Clinton, goddammit. Now, the moment that many of you, I'm sure, have been waiting for, and of course the only Republican candidate that I would bother to include, Mr. Ron Paul. I go back and forth on him, because I do believe in peace, liberty, and abolishing idiotic things like the Federal Reserve, which are designed to artificially inflate our system and make the rich richer, the poor poorer, etc. However, I don't agree with his hyper-privatization ideas. Privatizing education would be a horrible idea in my mind. Think about private schools. Private schools have no accountability to the curriculum. Homeschools have no accountability to the curriculum. This means that no school would have no accountability as to their curriculum. And I think it is wrong to indoctrinate children into our beliefs simply because we believe them. If I were to open a private school that taught only my beliefs, I would still think it was wrong, because no child should be forced to come out thinking like me just because I'm the headmaster of that school. Also, abortion needs to be safe and legal in every state, no matter what. And I could make a whole nother video on the subject of abortion, and maybe I will. But illegalizing abortion in any sense, in any place, is not an option in my mind. That said, I don't think that Ron Paul would have enough support in Congress to get those policies passed. However, I do think he could lead the way for a troop withdrawal from Iraq, and he could help reform the nasty tax system that taxes the wealthy less than they need to be and taxes the middle class more than they need to be. There is one candidate left in my little alphabetical order stream, Mr. Bill Richardson. However, I think it would be a little bit anticlimactic to end on him, so I'm going to skip him because I figure that none of you are really going to vote for him anyway. So, I encourage you all to do more research and correct me where I'm wrong. Correct anyone where they're wrong. Fight for the truth. Fight for the right candidate. Go to debates. And any of you YouTube people can. I did. This is my press pass from the AFL-CIO forum. I said I have my own blog, and they let me in. So, do your own research. Think for yourself. This is my video. Peace and pieces, etc.